Good morning, ma'am. I'm fine. Have you pictures?
All right.
Are you all right?
Come on in.
Okay. Can you see straight out before? I saw good morning. I guess it's sorry, sir. That was John back. Thank you. Yeah. And I.
The other issue with that is there's right next to a break.
Morning, Andrew. Hey, John. How you going? Good.
Oh, that is, I think that might be Trevor.
Nice to see you.
Yeah,
You too. Yeah, thanks, John.
We're
all belong. See that too.
How many have you got? How many pictures have you got?
Hi, Robin.
I've only had a quick look. I haven't done any editing.
You're not leaving
I'd
here.
say
You're not
it
leaving
was
here.
two cards of 2 gigabytes each.
Oh, whoa, you're right.
Good. Not a lot.
I've got 50 dollars.
Morning, Michael.
Good.
Sit down.
But I was pleased with one picture of the outside. Yeah, that's the shot. Because wherever I went, you've got those awful telegraph, those wires, and I just went in close looking up at it. That's the shot. I mean, you can fix up the other things, but I mean, I can, but then once you spend all those hours getting the telephone wires, it was a paying customer merely so that they can say, oh, no, I don't like that one.
Yeah.
And that's my perennial issue. Trying to think that they know everything. Oh, I need a choice. You want to pay for it? I'll give you a choice. You not pay for it?
But she changed it to a
Yeah, that's
I spent a lot of time on it. I thought the pattern wise was good. I've got a lot of the shades from the outside. Bit of paint. 3 windows. Cushions on the thing at the bottom. And the fire extinguishers red down the side. Do this up a bit. I'll put the spots out. She got the front
I
door.
was very pleased that I had my 15, I think, lying away. It's almost like a picture. It's starting to distort the edges. It's just like at the very back, I was able to almost get sort of looking across that little quiet bit in the middle at the back, and you see a whole lot of church in the one picture. Whereas without that picture, it's 2 pictures. And that graduated stuff, it just helps the walls. That's what we do with pictures. Simple wide-angle pictures to make it look bigger.
Yeah. But you can fit that. Well, you know, you hit around the corner and I was taking
Yes.
She likes to try on me.
Well,
I've left them there.
well, that's right. See if anybody notices.
Good fun.
It is. What will I eat? I think I'll have a Scotch fin.
You happy to do it? Now you can't stay. I'm sitting on the chair.
No, yeah.
I'm taking the one up there now.
Yeah.
How's things? Good. How's John? The paint's good at the moment. Come here, Pete.
I think I got all the slides and right.
Come over here, Pete.
Do you want it?
Yeah, like, just have a look, make sure it's
No, all the slides are right, but you want to click to your slide.
Oh, yeah.
So pull it back and you sort of got to wait in that journey.
Okay.
So I'll just leave that type, like the type slide.
My grandmother used to work in Players and Aerials factory, which was biscuits
On the Murray.
and she worked as the official cake decorator on Arm and Icing and making all the little these flowers. So every birthday when I was a little kid, she made this wonderful fruit cake and with icing on the square thing around thing.
Wonderful winter
I
weather.
hated fruit cake. I'd eat it for the icing, but also needed smoke. She got little matchbox colours on the square thing around. Didn't like the cake, but I liked all the other
Except when Isaac, clearly Isaac, oh yeah, let's put the heater on, 3 hours before you arrive.
as a little child. I didn't like this because it was Grandma used to put sixpence.
And we quite like that.
How are you feeling?
Ducted heating, but it's both, thank you, Rosemary, it's both air conditioning and heating, so it's like a reverse cycle. So what I'm really interested in is, this is the first winter, so I'm interested in like comparing bills, whether it's cheaper than gas, it's not impressive.
I've got some friends that recently been there and they love it.
And if you need it, like most people.
Meet the kids there, yeah, it's great. Oh, excellent.
So yeah, so
There'll be a group of you. Oh, how wonderful.
and the room out the back, it's got like it's large so basically in the future, we know this sleeping just turns out which makes it better.
Sorry, just you're on the weekend. That might be untrue. So the
Yeah, I'll just use the clicker. I just spoke to John, and he wants to click through his score.
it's a click over here as opposed to John. Just catches some of our guests off guard. This is all, I don't know what to read about the clicker. If you hold it down, it doesn't change. You have to point out this window, and you have to click.
And if it doesn't work, you throw it at the window. It's special glass, but protective glass.
It'll bounce back, you can catch it again, and then you can continue.
Okay, cool. You might want to do like songs and stuff like that. Oh, I know. I'll click through. Yeah, I'll click through. Yep.
Well, they'll be
Right, no, that's all.
Out there? Are you leading the singing? Are you leading the singing today? And the Irish. 5 minutes. Actually, it's less. 3 minutes. Oh.
I didn't want to be right in the middle, right?
How are you, Gwen?
You know if that was in the job description when I chose this chair. Go away. Go to the other side of the road. Oh, I didn't know that. Sorry.
We'll just listen to Trev's conversation. Good morning, everyone. We were absolutely chockers last week. I can sure pull a crowd, can't I? I think it's a long weekend. John Rogerson sold me a pup because I was supposed to be on next week, but John's away. But welcome, everyone. Well, as normal, we will acknowledge country. We certainly acknowledge the care and stewardship of this country by the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation, and certainly pay our respects to their elders past, present and emerging. And the second welcome or thing we normally do is welcome to everyone. We're an open community, we embrace diversity, and you all should feel safe here. And talking about welcome, we have John back. Welcome, John. You're like that famous singer that as soon as you finish one concert, you know, crowd's big, you announce another one, so you're back again with popular...
And the joint's empty.
Yes. Okay. When John and I exchanged emails earlier in the week, I suppose, or last week, and John said he gave me the topic, but I didn't have my glasses on. I got a bit confused, and his topic I now realise is filling the space, but I thought he actually said filling space, and I thought of this guy. Because this guy certainly fills space, satellites, quotes, opinions, and then I sort of went down a rabbit hole. As usual when you go do these things, you go down a rabbit hole, and of course I thought space, this is my youth. Space Invaders at the Belmont Pizza Bar, sitting, but they had a table version which was very upmarket. Remember the table version? You sit at both ends and the upturned TV. Trying to make the high score, but my secret was I'd get in early in the day because they switched the machine off overnight, which wiped all the previous high scores. So if you were first on, you were the high score. But I needed to get back on track, and space, and who could I consult but Gary Larson? Now some semblance of focus. Now a time we're going to try and find some space. Thinking, meditating, listening, musing. The visual focus I'm going to give you is a Banksy mural. This one's located at the Bristol Boys Club, and it's called Mobile Lovers. I thought it was interesting. The question I want you to ponder: is it you? Is it us? Is it a generation? Is it right? Is it wrong? Does it matter? Are things just different now? What is the metaphor? Is space in such short supply? We're going to listen to a song called Fields of Gold, which is another version. Sting wrote this song. And whilst you muse and listen, Rosemary's going to light the Christ candle. Thanks, Rosemary.
Soft and
Chris is going to get very worked today. He's got 2 readings, so over to you, Chris.
Before I do the reading, to maths. Cubit is this to this.
Want to click?
Yeah. No one agrees what that actually is. So 6 cubits is somewhere between 2.7 meters to maybe 4. Just to help you imagine what we're about to read. King Nebuchadnezzar made an image of gold, 60 cubits high and 6 cubits wide, and set it upon the plain of Dura in the province of Babylon. He then summoned the satraps, prefects, governors, advisors, treasurers, judges, magistrates, and all the other provincial officials to come to the dedication of the image he had set up. So the satraps, prefects, governors, advisors, treasurers, judges, magistrates, and all the other provincial officials assembled for the dedication of the image that King Nebuchadnezzar had set up, and they stood before it. Then the herald loudly proclaimed, "Nations and peoples of every language, this is what you are commanded to do. As soon as you hear the sound of the horn, flute, zither, lyre, harp, pipe, and all kinds of music, you must fall down and worship the image of gold that King Nebuchadnezzar has set up. Whoever does not fall down and worship will be immediately thrown into a blazing furnace." Therefore, as soon as they heard the sound of the horn, the flute, the zither, the lyre, the harp, and all kinds of music, all the nations and the peoples of every language fell down and worshipped the image of gold the King Nebuchadnezzar had set up.
Thanks, Chris. Can somebody explain what a zither is?
It's like a harpy thing.
It's a harpy thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Triangular. Okay. I just asked a question that 90% of you wanted to ask, didn't I? I've been reading and listening a little bit to a gentleman called Brian Cox. Has anybody heard of Brian Cox? Not the Brian Cox who starred in Succession. Yes? Barb? Did you say yes? Scientist. He is a theoretical physicist. And he's a bit of a rock star. And the reason he's a rock star is he's a theoretical physicist who's incredibly smart, but is able to sort of explain it to us lesser beings. So he tries to explain things like origin of the universe and what a black hole is. But one of the things he talks about is this connection between space and time. They're inexorably linked. Each have a direct influence over the other. Then I was reminded, thinking about space, of what Paul Turton said last week about Quincy Jones. Now, who was here for Paul last week? Paul mentioned Quincy Jones, very famous music producer, talking about leaving space so God could enter the room. And the last thing, I was listening to some Pink Floyd during the week, and the guitarist David Gilmour is seen as one of the greatest rock guitarists in the world, but he said he couldn't ever play fast. He didn't have the capability to play fast. He could only play slow. And then he said, but that allows space. And he thought that was very important. As a general statement, we're busy, getting busier and busier. More to squeeze in. Technology helps, but I got exposed to Claude. Who's used Claude here? Yeah. Well, Claude's the latest AI, and Danny Wilson has become very good friends with Claude, and he introduced me. I'm not sure I like Claude yet. I'm just working through it. One of the pleasures that I think I have now that I didn't have in my working life was the luxury of time, and the luxury of time allowing you to do things, for example, when you travel, without the need to rush, without the need to feel exhausted when you get back, and to sort of try and experience wherever you are more as a local than as a tourist. But I think the other thing with busyness is I certainly have a guilt. There's this inbuilt guilt of, well, I'm not doing anything. I should be doing something, you know? And it fills on itself. So busy is a factor in making space, but it can lead to this. I am cooked, as the sporting phrase would be. You become a mental absence, an overloaded mind, a lack of focus, stressed, fatigued, inefficient, unhappy. We can lose joy. Unless we free up some space, problems are on the horizon. If you're full, there's no space for others. There's no space for yourself. There's no space for God. And I'm trying to think of an analogy for this. Now, you need to bear with me here. I believe we have more control of this than we think we do. Now, the analogy I came up with is filling the car up. Now, those with an electric car, think back to the olden days, okay? Now, we go to fill up the car. Click, glug, 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 glug. Then what happens when it's full? It clicks. Right, now, how many people stop, hang up the pump, and go and pay? Rosemary? How many people do a couple more clicks? Okay. How many people click till they can actually see the fuel through the fuel cap? Trev, I'm with you.
My fuel gauge is broken.
Yeah, the pumps is.
Guilty as charged. But it's interesting that when we're full, Why do we try and squeeze even more in? We can do this for the absolute right reasons, but the reality is there's no space left. Are we poorer for this? Is there enough space for higher priorities, more important things? Is there space for joy, experience, friends, family, laughter? Is there space for the spiritual? Is this a valid equation? Chris is going to bring the second reading, and then we're going to hear from John. Thanks, Chris.
From Daniel chapter 4, verses 28 to 32. All this happened to King Nebuchadnezzar 12 months later, as the king was walking on the roof of the royal palace in Babylon. He said, "Is not this the great Babylon I have built as the royal residence by my mighty power and for the glory of my majesty?" Even as the words left his lips, a voice came from heaven. "This is what is decreed for you, King Nebuchadnezzar. Your royal authority has been taken from you. You will be driven away from people and will live with the wild animals. You will eat grass like the ox. 7 times will pass by for you until you acknowledge that the Most High is sovereign over all kingdoms on earth and gives them to anyone he wishes."
Well, I promised you another story, and here I am. Sorry?
At least it's not a clip from a TV show. The Simpsons clip.
No. This is a bit of an adult theme sermon, so prepare yourselves. Rosemary and I were lucky enough to have a holiday in April, and we went to Sri Lanka, and it was lovely. We spent a night near the airport, and then the next day we travelled right into the centre of the country to a place called Sigiriya, where we saw, this vertical rock just rising out of the jungle. It's quite a dramatic sight. And 1,500 years ago, this rock was turned into a fabulous palace and a fortress by King Kashyapa. And some of the footings and the carvings and the gardens and the pools are still there. You can still see them when you go. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site, so it's protected, and it's for good reason. So we climbed it, of course. There's eroded rock steps for like 2/3 of the way up, and then the last third, it's sort of a steel staircase bolted to the side of the rock. And as I climbed it, I just couldn't stop thinking about the manual labour, the work that would have been required to do this in 500 CE. It's mind-boggling to think that they did all this by hand. It must have taken thousands of people, just incalculable hours, to sort of build these palace and turn the place into a fortress. And by the time I was 1/3 of the way up, did I tell you it was hot? It was hot. And I was pooped. A third of the way up, my heart was going, my breathing, I was panting, and so I had to stop for about 10 minutes or so, just to let my heart rate slow down and my breathing get back to normal. And Rosemary, isn't she lovely? She stopped and waited for me while that happened. Oh no, I've done it. I'm going backwards, aren't I? Hang on, I can do this. That's where I stopped and panted and let my heart rate slow down. That's the view from there. Like, interesting. Kashyapa was the oldest son of the very popular King Dartusana, who ruled Sri Lanka for many years. The trouble for Kashyapa, though, was he was the firstborn son, but he was born to a woman from a lower caste, and so he wasn't entitled to the throne. That fell to his much younger brother, Moggallana, who was born to a woman of royal lineage. So everyone expected that Moggallana was going to be king when Kashyapa died. And this didn't please Kashyapa at all. So with the help of his chief of army, or the king's chief of army, who had his own beef with Dartusana, he engineered a palace coup and took his father to the dungeon where he immured him. By immured, I mean he put his father into a cell and then in the dungeon and bricked it up. So you couldn't even hear Dartusana's screams. Moggallana heard of this. He fled to South India. And Kashyapa became known as King Kashyapa the Patricide. And patricide's a cardinal sin in Buddhism, so he was very unpopular with the people and with the Buddhist clergy. And he was also fearful too that Moggallana would return one day and the people and the clergy would side with him. So he moved his court and palace to Lion Rock in Sigiriya. And that brought the added advantage of being able to see for a long way. So if Moggallana did show up in years to come, you would be able to see him and avoid any threat to his army, which was encamped around the rock. Self-indulgence is not approved in Buddhism. It's not a thing. So Kashyapa, already being rejected by the religious establishment and unpopular with the people, felt no constraints around self-indulgence. And so it's the only place in Sri Lanka where there are monuments to a king that he built himself. And this rock is amazing. It's, now hang on, I'm coming. This is a ledge 2/3 of the way up. It's called the Lion's Paw Terrace, and those lion's paws are carved out of solid rock. And not only that, in the cliff above these lion's paws, they had carved a face of a lion into the cliff. It's long since weathered off the face, but it must have, you can imagine how impressive it must have been. After 14 years, Moggallana did come back to Sri Lanka with a motley collection of friends, and he set up camp in the swamp in the plains next to the jungle. Now, it was far enough away that Kashyapa couldn't see it, but he heard about it, and against advice he decided to go and confront Moggallana before he could build up his forces. And there are conflicting stories. There was a Buddhist monastery nearby that sort of kept a record of all of this. Kashyapa, when he got to the swamp, riding his royal war elephant — everybody should have a royal war elephant, shouldn't they? He decided it was a bit boggy, and he thought he'd make the elephant go backwards so he could change direction and then bear down on Moggallana from another angle. So he's making the elephant go backwards. And all the troops in the army saw the elephant going backwards and thought, oh, this is a sign, a symbol of retreat, a signal to retreat. So they fled and left Kashyapa on the royal war elephant alone with Moggallana advancing. So Kashyapa pulled out his bejewelled dagger and slit his own throat on the royal war elephant. I guess the moral of the story is don't make your elephant go backwards. Sometime after Rosemary got up to the top, I got there too, and the view was absolutely magnificent. There was a rainbow. We just got there at the time where a rainbow had formed over the jungle, and it was just wow. My legs hurt. I was still panting, soaked in sweat. I told you it was hot, didn't I? And it was still worth it. It was just fantastic. But it was this. Now, if I can find it. No, we'll go. There. It was this that made me think of Nebuchadnezzar. I guess you can't capture the dimensions from that photo, but that's Kashyapa's throne, carved out of solid rock and polished. And it's enormous, and it overlooks like what would have been his court, and then to the right was a big swimming pool where all his concubines would have been. It's massive, and I looked at it and I thought, who needs a throne that big? And it sort of dawned on me a bit later, Nebuchadnezzar would have understood that perfectly well. And you heard the story from Chris of Nebuchadnezzar building his golden statue on the plain of Dura, requiring the bow and the heating of the furnace. And you heard Nebuchadnezzar standing on the roof of his palace, admiring the city of Babylon that he had built for the glory of his own majesty. And his words are, "Is this not Babylon, which I have built by my mighty power as a royal residence for the glory of my majesty?" First person singular possessive pronoun. So Nebuchadnezzar lived 1,000 years before Kashyapa, but boy, the story repeats, doesn't it? And there's Nebuchadnezzar, the sort of the uncaused cause of his own greatness and answerable to nothing above him. So it seems both men have sort of placed themselves in the position of God. And C.S. Lewis, in his book Mere Christianity, calls this sort of pride an anti-God state of mind, not a vice among vices, but the mother sin. Anyway, almost before the words were out of Nebuchadnezzar's mouth, his hair grows like feathers, his nails grow like claws, and he's in a field eating grass. And it seems to me it's not so much a judgment of God, but the natural and predictable destination and conclusion of someone who's filled all of the available space with themselves, so that in the end there's nothing left. There's nothing. But the field. Now, you could be forgiven for thinking that I'm offering a political commentary on our contemporary world leaders. But I'm not. My purpose is to ask you to reflect on what are you filling your space with? Who or what do you think about all day? When you pray, what do you pray for? For whom do you pray? Now, of course, we need to think about ourselves, if only for self-care and our own stewardship and self-esteem. But Cassiopea and Nebuchadnezzar remind us not to fill all our space with ourselves, be that self-pride or self-pity. And just what balance is right for you, I don't know. I imagine there's a whole discipline or branch of psychology devoted to this. There's probably tomes of literature. But let me suggest that making a little bit of space for God might help. It does for me. Anyway, dwelling on Jesus' love for me and for all of us and for creation makes a difference to what and who occupies my mind. And we're going to have an opportunity to dwell on that love soon as we share communion together. Against expectation, after 7 years, the end of Daniel 4 tells us that Nebuchadnezzar was redeemed. Daniel 4:34 says that Nebuchadnezzar raised his eyes towards heaven and his sanity was restored. And then he praised the Most High and his kingship was re-established. And I suppose after that length of time, he'd started asking himself, after being in the field for that long, what more is there? What more is there besides myself? Self-pride, self-pity. And you keep asking that question. Here's a lectern. Oh, there's a microphone. There's a building. There's a person. There's a whole lot of people. And you keep asking yourself that question and your horizon expands until eventually Nebuchadnezzar raised his eyes towards heaven. And when we do that, God finds us and redemption begins. Moggallana ruled for 18 years. He respectfully cremated Cassiopea's body. And then he went and killed over 1,000 of Cassiopea's supporters. In the best traditions, mind you, of Old Testament kings, including King David, he cut off the noses and ears of lesser offenders. And he handed over Lion Rock to the Buddhist clergy, who turned it into a monastery which helped to preserve it for a long time. I promised you another story. I hesitate to give it, but climbing down the rock was a lot easier than going up, I can tell you. We got onto the bus and went back to our hotel. That's the swimming pool in our hotel and the rock in the background. And I was cooked. I told you it was hot, didn't I? Yeah. And my legs were done, and I just wanted to get into that pool and go for a swim. So I said to Rosemary, I'm going for a swim, and she said, well, we'll both go. We'll just go back to the back of the hotel and find our room and get changed into our bathers. And no, I'm going for a swim. I've got my boxer shorts on. They're all right. So Rosemary went to the back of the hotel, found our room and changed into her bathers. And by the time she came out, I'd been for a swim. I'd got a towel from the pool attendant and just gone in my boxer shorts. There was a nice couple from New South Wales sitting right at the back there. I think I was talking to them when Rosemary came out, dressed only in my boxer shorts. That didn't improve matters. She thought it was grossly improper and she told me so. But I think my boxer shorts look all right. Thank you.
As long as the elastic was all right, John. That's the big test with jumping in the pool with boxer shorts. Janine, thank you.
Let's join together with our thoughts and intentions and hopes in prayer. And feel free to light a candle during this time as a form of prayer and remembrance for people and situations that are on your heart. Let's pray. God of peace, we come with heavy hearts for the state of the world, with wars and violence, the wounded and vulnerable. In situations which seem intractable and impossible, we pray for peace in hearts, in homes, in nations, and between nations. Bring a vision and spirit of peace to leaders, and may they be surrounded by advisors of wisdom and courage who see a path to peace. For people facing violence and unrest, for those facing disaster and crisis, for people in troubled times, for people facing injustice, for people experiencing loneliness or loss. May there be healing, justice, compassion, and reconciliation. And at this time in particular, we ask for wisdom, boldness, and grace for Meryl as she has time with church leaders in Rome. May their dialogue lead to understanding, cooperation, and transformation to enable the church to be a voice for unity, peace, and compassion. God of comfort, we come with concerns for ourselves and the people around us who are facing struggles closer to home. We think in particular of John, Helen, Gwen, Robin, John, and others known to us. Embrace them with your healing and consolation. Empower them with strength and courage. May they have wise, skillful, and compassionate carers around them. And may they and their loved ones know your comforting presence. We live in days of busyness and distraction, of cluttered minds and anxious hearts, of emptiness and despair. God of presence, may you give us calm and stillness in the inner chambers of our being. May we learn to pause and linger enough to know your presence and its joy. And a prayer called Silent God from Edwina Gately. This is my prayer, that though I may not see, I be aware of the silent God who stands by me. That though I may not feel, I be aware of the mighty love which doggedly follows me. That though I may not respond, I be aware that God, my silent, mighty God, waits each day. Quietly, hopefully, persistently, waits each day and through each night for me alone. Amen.
Thanks, Janine. As we run into communion, we're going to sing, and I think Rosemary is going to help us, and I'm going to accompany with the clicker. Thanks, guys. I had one job. So we come to communion, the time when the community comes together. Hopefully this is a time where we can put into work the time plus intention, and it gives us some space. Thank you. No, I'll hold on to it. And he took bread and gave thanks and broke it and gave it to them, saying, "This is my body given for you. Do this in remembrance of me." In the same way, after the supper, he took the cup, saying, "This cup is the new covenant in my blood, which is poured out for you." Announcements. I'll rip into two, or three actually. So we've got Rosemary clearly is back, as you would have seen. How was the holiday, Rosemary? Very good. Nice to see you. Meryl takes off this week. Is that correct for Rome? Yeah. Fantastic. With the does Meryl now can be described as a religious heavyweight? Is that right?
Oh, you could always describe her as that.
Yeah. While she's not here, I can. And is Dave still here? No, he's disappeared. Oh, obviously, I was going to get an update on John and Helen. Anybody else got anything they would like to mention? Well, that's unusual, isn't it? Okay, let's finish off with the Irish blessing or the Gaelic blessing, or insert adjective. Rosemary, you better start us off. Well, Michael's going to start us off. Well, Chris can start us off. Thanks, everyone.
What I do, which is you think of an opening goal Zoe, are you a baritone or a tenor?
I'm a baritone.
Yeah,
When
you're
warmed
the-
up and cover a house.
Yeah, you're the problem, you have the same problem I have. With altos and baritone, you always start to combine.
No, like probably the issue is previous radio. They had us do something when it came to those kind of
You should have heard Paul singing last one, he sang quite a few.
Good, but coming back probably. No, I think I'm nearly back. But I came back to family members this week. It's so big space. Well, I had a whole new year, so the house went from three of us to 9 of us at that time, and mostly 7 of us. We kind of having us 14 but it's fun. You've still got but you've got double whammy. Single whammy. And the 2 dogs. We had family dinner, and so they tend to stay the night, and then that kind of went to family. We had family dinner again the next year, and then we had the weekend. And so they went, there's no point going home with this, we've got to get the dogs, and I was saying, next you, we may as well just stay Thursday night. So then they left the weekend, so I said Saturday, Sunday, but then they came back Sunday, and then we all had dinner again together, so they stayed Sunday. And they left home for Monday, but then they came back for the Tuesday for family dinner again. It's so stubborn. I just need to get out now because just outside with our extra all living in the same house. Can't downsize yet. I know. So now I can see them all weekend.